It's my pleasure to welcome you once again to Leadership 360. Good afternoon, wherever you are watching us from, across the continent, across the country, Ghana. This is the program that you have been excited about in season 1, where we learned a lot, unlearned, and relearned. And now we are ready to accelerate. Season 2 is here, and it is our biggest expectation that we'll continue our learning even better than we started in season 1. Today, we're going to have a continuation of that conversation. Your feedback has been inspiring and very insightful, and we're going to build on that in this season. I am your regular host, Dr. Victor Abbey. Let's take a breather while we continue when we come back.
I promise on my honor to be a better leader every day, faithful and loyal to my country, organization, and fellow team members, countrymen and women. I pledge myself to remain true to the core values of integrity and self-discipline through my daily choices and actions. My mind is alert, focused at all times. I shall show respect to everyone always and every time. I remain a better leader and team player always. So I pledge.
Welcome back. Courtesy our sponsors, GOL PLC, V5 Solutions Limited, FV Global Consult. We are live on Metro TV and VOL online radio, and also on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana. If you are watching us, this is Leadership 360 from the studios of Metro TV. Indeed, we want to extend our commiserations to the victims of Akosombo Dam spillage, and it's our prayer that more philanthropists will reach out to them so as to ameliorate their plight. Fellow countrymen, our countrymen and women are in distress. As much as we can, let's all reach out and with a helping hand so that we can kind of reduce the trauma, the stress they are going through. We pray the Lord grant us all this. Now, today we have an amazing African, a Ghanaian, on the show. Before I introduce him to all of us, let me be quick to say season 1 has been amazing. Your inputs, your contributions, we so much appreciate it. Your feedback for improvement, we appreciate it. We are so grateful. We are thankful and grateful for you taking your time off to give us that feedback. And we also want to appreciate all those who made it possible for the end of season 1 summit, out of studio summit that took place in Kumasi. It was also amazing. The participation was super. Our guest speakers were amazing. And the chairman, I just cannot describe the inputs. Mark, Farouk, Amma, Genevieve, Manye, Evans, everybody was amazing. So we are so grateful to you. Over 200 participants took place in that summit. And you can imagine the kind of things that were shared, the experiences shared, the lessons learned, and the kind of feedback. Out there, we are all yearning for the right leadership qualities, the right skills to approach the development of our communities, our country, and our continent as large. As you can see on the screen, you see students from different schools, diverse backgrounds, sociocultural and economic backgrounds, military or security personnel, the police, the fire service. It was an amazing event we had. Just look out for Lura Summit coming to your neighborhood sooner. You will just watch this space and you will see the wonderful things that our guest speakers or our supporters are supporting us to do. It was such an amazing program, and we are grateful to all of you. Now, the Leadership 360 program is meant for you and I to learn, unlearn, relearn, to accelerate our skills development as leadership. Today, we have an amazing person with us to help us carry through today's conversation. And the conversation is going to be a continuation. He happens to be one of our guest speakers. And it's going to be a continuation of a conversation that was triggered at the summit around the topic leadership and sustainable development in the context of Ghana and Africa, the leadership perspective. To help us do this is an African entrepreneur with a strong commitment to Africa's development growth. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Premium Africa Holdings, an African-focused investment holding company with assets and projects in Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Uganda, and Dubai. The company operates in the areas of construction, mining, financial technology, agribusiness, renewable energy, and investment consultancy. He is someone who has held or has been awarded or has received several awards. We cannot go on and on and on and on. But one of the critical things that we also need to know is that he's a strategic advisor to lots of governments across Africa, but more especially the royal family of Dubai. He is in the person of FAROUK KHAILAN. FAROUK, you're welcome to Leadership 360.
Thank you very much. It feels
amazing having you in studio.
Yes, it feels like home already. So
that's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. You know, I am excited because we're going to continue the conversation that was started at the summit. But before we go into that, what's your feedback with regards to the summit?
I think we hit a home run with that event. The feedback is amazing. I'm just overwhelmed with calls. I think I remember I called you a few days back to really, acknowledge, the impact you've made with that event. It was beyond my expectations. I mean, the calls was from people who, were not even present. Said that the takeaway was very, very insightful, and they're asking for more. So I think the commitment should be, continuous.
Well, thank you. The Leadership 360 team is humbled by those feedback, as we all said. Now, it's been said that the long-term health of every progressive organization, business, country, continent, is from leadership. In other words, there is nothing sustainable that can be done without leadership. And as such, leadership and sustainable development, they are allies, natural allies. You cannot separate the two.
Absolutely.
Now, to set the ball rolling, what is your own view about leadership, your practice and experience?
I mean, leadership it has to do with direction. It has to do with people management. It has to do with foresight. It has to do with commitment. And a major part of it is sacrifice, one that requires you to put people first. Once you're called as a leader, it means you've been tasked to put people first and consider yourself last. Make sure your subordinates, people that you're superintending over, make sure that everybody is fine, okay, to be able to give their best. So in the nutshell, our leadership is people management and making sure you put people first. Because when an assignment on agenda is given, it requires people to be able to drive that. And once you are managing people, make sure that everybody is operating at its fullest capacity so that outcomes meet expectations.
Okay. So it's about people. And it's
absolutely
about ensuring that same people remain energetic, focused, and ready to deliver at all times.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Sure.
So from that, it appears you don't share the position that leadership is about authority, position.
Absolutely not. It shouldn't. It's never been about authority. It's not any time, because I've been in certain corridors where people that I thought would exert a certain level of authority are the ones who are asking questions like, what do you think? How do we go about it? So it's not really operating from a place of authority, but building cohesion among a collective, ensuring that, like I said, the individual that is part of the whole is actually operating at the fullest capacity. All cylinders must be firing. So in this case, it's not a case of from authority, because once you start operating leadership from a point of authority, the thrust of leadership is lost. Like I said, it's about people. It's about putting people first. Authority, at times we need authority, but the way authority is managed is also very critical for leadership, you know. So it's not, you know.
So it's more of people-centered.
It's mostly collaborative, sort of.
Okay.
More collaborative. Even in recent times, when managers of economies, even regulators, have beginning to embrace the idea, this sort of hammer approach to regulation is not really cutting it. So it's more of collaboration and ideas sharing and believing that we need to come together to be able to achieve. A leader is just be able to, at times, like we discussed at the summit, and there are scenarios where it's required you lead from the back. There are times you have to lead from the front. So it's a very dynamic space, and you cannot operate from just a point of authority. You know, there are times, yes, you need to exert authority, but in most of the cases, more of a collaborative approach. Yeah.
That's great. I must admit that we have explored and dissected this leadership definition over and over again, even during the season 1.
Correct.
And you've hammered it again into us to understand that leadership is not about position, it's about harnessing potentials and ensuring that you coordinate the affairs of people to realize a dream.
Spot on. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, when we pair our topic, because today I want to believe our viewers and audience out there want to ask a lot of questions. So we'll go straight to the point. And then, so talking about leadership and sustainable development, we have tackled leadership. What do you see as being the meaning of, or how do you define sustainable development?
Sustainable development, like leadership, is about sustainability. Mostly has to do with handing over the baton.
Okay.
Are you preparing people to take over from where you're going to left off? Are you, analyzing feedback? Are you getting feedback from people to be able to sustain, to keep things like progressive as is expected? So as a leader, sustainability should be very central in your strategy. How do we carry on consistently? How do people take over from where we are so that we stay within momentum and head towards, the end goal? So sustainability and leadership is, like I said, mostly about people, finding people to replace you or finding people to complement your energy so that, like I said, you maintain momentum, you keep the focus, and you walk towards a vision.
So when we bring in the development part of it, as in development of our communities, development of our nations and the continent as large, what are we talking about in terms of the sustainability?
Yes, so a leader is supposed to build more leaders. You just don't lead and then just leave it at that. Whilst you're leading, you carry people along. Like even in certain jurisdictions that have been called to advise about Africa and all, you realize there was one particular moment where there was a very critical call that was made about a top-level government official follow up and say, how many young executives are you working with? He said, one. They said, we want to see 2 more people join you. They should be at a certain threshold when it comes to age. So it's about preparing people to take over from where you left off. So in terms of our development, it's also a very valid way to analyze and assess ourselves, because like I said, feedback, monitoring and evaluation is very critical in sustaining anything. Are we achieving our goals at the pace at which we are moving? Is it going to allow us to arrive at a certain, expected jurisdiction? So all these things, monitoring and evaluation, building the next generation of people to take over is very critical. And then alternative perspective. Okay. You don't know it all. You don't assume you know it all. So once you're open-minded, you open yourself to feedback, ideas. It creates a very big pool of ideas for you to be able to sustain yourself. You don't know it all. Like we all woke up one day and there was Facebook, there was this. It's based on alternatives. Okay. People have looked at things and say, which other way can we do this? So you might be leading from a certain perspective, but when you open up for new ideas, young energy, people might come with something and say, oh, hold up, this is going to really propel us faster than we thought we were moving. So it's the openness, mindedness of leaders is also critical. And for our development agenda, I have this ritual call for alternative perspective. Okay. Is there any other way to approach this? And it leads to amazing discoveries that actually surprises us all in a positive way. Okay. So that's what I
guess we're going to explore that more.
Sure.
But sustainability, leadership, sustainability, do we see vision playing a role in there?
It is very, very big part of it.
How?
Very, very, because vision is the end goal. And at times the vision bearer sees it much clearer than anybody else. Mm-hmm. So if you're entrusted with a vision, it's dawned on you to bring clarity to a vision. We are not saying 100% clarity, but people should sense that, yes, this vision it cuts it. It's one that is going to change our dynamic, is one that is going to help all of us. So clarity in vision is very critical. So how you communicate the vision is also important. Okay. What tools are you making available for all of us to be able to achieve this vision that you talked about? So vision is very critical. Its articulation is also very critical. Its management is also extremely critical. And how you build people to also embrace the vision, how you market it. So it's quite it's a broad conversation, but like you rightly put it, vision is a very key component in our development. That is why you have a country come out with Vision 2020, Vision this, Vision that, and the Middle East is very big on vision. I mean, you could wake up one day to a vision that is just a month away. We want, but this, so it's, yes. And then they build momentum around it, everybody drives it. And once you become somebody who has given a good account of yourself as moving towards the vision, psychologically you get people to also believe in it. But if you set a vision and your characteristics and the way you're moving towards the vision is a bit suspect, it's hard to build, community to be able to, support that vision.
So it's not only about just the vision.
Absolutely
not. But leadership attitude, leadership qualities all play a role.
Major role.
Achieving or attaining the vision.
It does.
And in effect, development as well.
Absolutely.
So what would be when we bring it to our context, you are first a Ghanaian and African, sure, and you are out there, international business person. What will you say is the way to go for especially leaders and upcoming leaders in terms of development of our communities, our nation, the continent? What will you say?
I think we should be serious about it. I mean, there's this, I don't want to, I want to be modest in the words that there's this annoying attempt. I say we attempt to develop. We are still playing with the idea of development. We haven't decided yet. Yeah. I don't think because once we decide, that we want to develop. We will develop.
What makes you say so?
Because there's this casual commitment when it comes to things that would ensure that we change our dynamics as a continent. I'm not going to talk about in terms of country as a sensitive conversation. I'm just talking from the continental standpoint. Right. It's too casual. The intentionality is not there. It's business as usual. It's not mine. I've had times where people have even called me out and say, "You're too passionate about a continent. Why? What's your problem?"
Really?
Yeah, seriously. So this idea of self is not really allowing us to develop. So yes, we might articulate the vision well, passionate about it. There's a lot of pomp and pageantry, the drums, the music, towards, talking about the development. But when it comes to how many times haven't we questioned what happened to this particular policy? It was amazing. We thought this is what is coming to, change our fortunes. And then it leaves us confused. There are times where I've been invited to certain countries where I'm going with a game plan. I'm super excited. Right? I'm like, oh, these people. You go and you present your case, and only to realize that there's already something there's something even much more, daring and cutthroat than what you are even presenting. You interrogate, why has this to me? You hear very funny things. Oh, the person who had the laptop traveled, this, we lost the election, and this, that. So it's the intentionality is not there. And anytime we want to call ourselves out and say, look, let's tell ourselves the truth, there's this discomfort about it, So it's hurting us. And for those of us who are doing frontline advocacy for the continent, it's at times you walk into a room and it's like, oh, those people again. Until you present a case with certain passion and say, look, there's still an army of people who think the way we think. Every continent has an African agenda. Every jurisdiction has what is our own agenda? What is our own agenda? They call us everywhere because every critical resource is on this continent. So people would, everybody wants to be your guy, your person, to be able to have that proximity to you. So we're everywhere, but we don't have our own agenda. You cannot fault people for building a strategy on sustainability. America has massive reserve of gold, oil, and everything. Like we talked about sustainability. Yeah. What is our own? What is our own? How do we develop? They haven't said we shouldn't develop our strategy. We are the liberty, we are independence. We can develop ours, whether defensive in nature or not. It's our own strategy, so that we should also be able to develop. So when it comes to the development conversation, it's a very passionate one, and we're very careful with the words we use because here there are acrimony towards, alternative perspective and even questioning the sort of leadership that is being, projected. It comes with a whole lot. Yeah, it comes with a whole lot.
So we will definitely get back, but you have enumerated quite a number of challenges, and embedded in that are opportunities as well.
Good.
So which way do you think, or what is the approach to agenda setting that we can advocate for across board, leadership across board?
We should be pro-solution. We should be pro-solution. You watch a lot of political, shows, or even any other commentary about economics or anything, and nobody talks about alternative. It's all critique. If you understand. Yeah. It's all critique, massive critique. Okay, after the critique, can we be pro-solution? Can we look at how to solve these problems? And problems are opportunities. Yeah. Problems are massive opportunities. Those who have sat down to try to solve problems and have actually solved problems have made massive gratification out of it. So we should be more pro-solution. We should encourage alternatives. This is how we did it. It's not working. Yeah. Should we form an ad hoc committee? Okay. Because, like I said, development is a matter of urgency. Look, guys, this is not working. It's not about us. It's about the country. Do we need to, create a good cocktail of leaders or experts to be able to solve this problem? So pro-solution, pro-solution, pro-solution. And at times our legislative framework creates a certain tortoise pace, towards our development. It doesn't mean that it should hold us back. We should be ingenuous. The creativity in the way we do things should be. Now, in recent times, technology is here. When you look at the internet revolution, before we got into industrialization 4.0, Africa was just toiling around with the idea of the internet. We were not too sure, it was just a casual, but it came to act. If we had embraced it much more, it would have changed our dynamics, because we are the last mile. And when you talk about last mile and left behind in terms of development, you need certain tools that would actually pull down the setback of transportations, accessibility. So technology, look at drones, what drones are being used for in the West. I look at them and say, no, we need drones even more than the West, because we are the ones that is left behind. But you go to some of our institutions, there's not even a desk to actually be able to embrace the new dynamic, the new way of doing things. So it's a very, very important conversation. You know why there's hope. In spite of all this, there's hope. There's a program like this that actually interrogates leadership. There's a lot of young people who would build an interest and be able to. There were times where growing up, society made me even question myself, like,
what are you here for?
Exactly. Like, am I really, because you don't have that group thinking mentality. You don't have, you believe that it will work. Right. I remember when I mean, it's almost a decade when I donned this Pan-African, garment and said, look, I'm going to throw myself in the wild. There's a billion population. Why am I limiting myself to only Ghana? Sierra Leone, Liberia is just 2 hours away from here. What's there? Let's go and see what's out there. And you go there and it's just a massive ocean of opportunities. Countries that are just 2 hours away, pretty much by just issue of political instability, are looking like Ghana in 1998. So it's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to go and also be able. That's why my consistent call on converting Ghanaian entrepreneurs to be very Pan-African in their thinking, because at the end of the day, the more we crisscross the continent as a people, we break down the walls, the borders, it helps us develop. Yes.
So in effect, the agenda setting should focus largely on paradigm shift from the business as usual and getting out of comfort zones to getting more uncomfortable with the current situation.
We needed a shift like yesterday, like 10 years ago, like 20 years ago, like 50 years ago. There were people who always consistently tried to remind us that, hey, we need the shift. We need the shift. Mindset, approach, development, everything, the way we manage people, the way we develop. Can we call back our education curriculum and fully interrogate it? What has been the outcomes since this century-old, textbook? What has been the outcomes? Let's just oppose the outcomes. What is the new knowledge? Leadership is about continuous learning. I mean, there are times when people will call me and say, bro, what's up? Why are you? I'm like, oh, I'm learning. Just learning what? Like, what are you learning?
It's getting interesting.
Yes,
it's a very whole
leadership
lot to
is
talk
about. Presidents need to be called to master class. We're having a special master class for the president on AI. We want to have a master class for the president on new technologies in mining, so that he's leading from a point of know-how, knowledge, so that even, look, when you know about something, the energy, the passion with which you advocate and you drive it is different. It's at its highest level. So, like I said, has this president been, the president he needs to always be in the classroom of a sort, because the world is moving at a very fast pace. Nobody's waiting for you. By the time you play catch up, the new thing is already here. In other places, there's already ministers for AI. And Africans don't want to hear about it. By the next couple of years, other people are, because look, data management is a big tool for development. How many people are coming into Ghana? Where did they go to? Where did they stay? What flight did they take? So once we have a dashboard of information, we're able to make decisions. and say, look, it looks like people who come are going more to Cape Coast. Should we put an experience in Cape Coast that would ensure that we maximize, the economic benefit? Why are they not going to Volta? What's the problem? Let's call the Minister of Tourism and have a conversation with him. Hey, we don't like the way that, so it's data. AI is here to ensure that this data is managed well. Nobody wants to talk about it. Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep. That's why before we even get on set, I was telling myself this conversation may not end today.
Sure.
May have to look for time to bring you back.
Yeah.
Opportunities abound. But there's also another school of thought. We'll delve more into that when we come back. But I want to still touch on it before we go on our first break. A book written by Campbell Scott, that's the Men Who Built America, argued that politicians do not build countries or continents. Entrepreneurs and businessmen build. Do you subscribe to that?
Look, there's a blueprint. I don't even, there's the blueprint, a developmental blueprint that people have done, used, applied, and it's worked.
So why is it always the case that in our part of the world or on our continent, largely, it's about everybody's looking up to politicians to build the nation or the continent? Why is it so?
So that's why.
And what can we do about it?
So that's why they have this massive currency and power, and because every blame goes to them. So it looks like they hold the magic wand for our transformation, but they are not supposed to. They should be focused on regulation, our security, so that creates a level playing field. Because they are the managers of the economy. They push the pen when it comes to policy, when it comes to laws and everything. They should stay within that purview and allow business to thrive. There's a very dangerous dynamic that is happening. Yeah. Young people are seeing politics as a business game. Okay. And there's enough evidence to prove that. It's also becoming, an LLC, a limited liability company. And so when you instead of finding people who should concentrate on the business of the day to ensuring that the system is fluid, is ensuring that things are happening, the person is sitting in that office and he's also making follow-up calls to his company outside, ensuring that the company that he's part of is thriving, other than the country thriving. So that distraction is gradually. In recent times, we're also encouraging entrepreneurs to get into politics. I don't know where the advocacy is coming from. These are people who create jobs. Give them the support to stay within the environment where they create jobs. In the last 10 years, as the Jospon Group created more jobs, what is the problem? Can we have a meeting with him because we need him to create more jobs? What is happening to NS Chemists? Can we have a meeting? I don't know why every time I'm having a conversation, I'm making references to other places, which is unfortunate. But if you operate a business in the UAE, the level of, you feel that sense of collaboration between you and the authorities. Because there's monthly emails, how's the sector going? What are some of the challenges you guys have? Do you think there will be a law that would ensure that you move at a capacity to grow? Because we don't have time. Development is not tomorrow. We want it now. So we want your feedback. Are you okay as a business? You understand what I'm saying? So that urgency is there. Politics, government, politicians are not people to transform the country. They are here to create, an enabling environment. Since I was a child, I've been reading about enabling environment in the Daily Graphic. And we still cannot find this enabling environment.
Anyway, on that note, let's take a sip of water while we take our second break, and we shall be right back. Welcome back, cherished viewers and audience out there. It's been an amazing discussion we are having. I'm personally enjoying it. Courtesy Goel PLC, V5 Solutions Limited, and FV Global Consults. We are live on Metro TV and live on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana as well. And I believe you are also enjoying the conversation so far. Before the break, we delve into areas concerning leadership, sustainable development, and then the fact that entrepreneurs or businessmen are the core to national development. We're going to continue with that. But before we go on that, I'm going to open the phone lines. You can reach through to the program on our usual line. That's 0531 982298, 0531 982298, as is on the screen. And if you're out of country, Ghana, you just add +233 and you reach us. Now, before the break, Farouk, we were talking about the fact that politicians are not the ones to build our communities, our nation, our continent. You made some few points with regards to how it's even turning out that people are rather, instead of remaining in business, they are moving, they are creating another whole lot of business in politics that, you know, give them some kind of leverage and all that. What are some other things that you want to say concerning innovation, business development, employment creation? You spoke about technology. What are some of those things that?
Fortunately for us, we have a startup ecosystem that is very, passionate. Is a massive, army of young people starting their own enterprises. I was having an argument with somebody that has always been there, technology, and is actually bringing it to the fore, because as young people, we all had entrepreneurial parents who started their, but there's a new paradigm that is actually, projecting startups, and it's very encouraging. But there's this demand side where young people are looking for capital to be able to really accelerate their idea or even start the idea, and the supply side. The supply has certain metrics that we're looking out for. Fortunately, I've been part of organizations that are big in, supporting startups, like the World Business Angel Investors Forum. Also, Eres Capital is a venture capital. So I sit in investment committees, and we interrogate a lot of startups. There are times when young people would find their way, come close and try to get you to help them. They come with this sort of microwave speed kind of expectation, which is not practical. And there are times people come, you interrogate their ideas, their journey, and said, you don't need capital. What you need is financial management. You don't need funding, because when we look at your spend, you don't need it. Everything you need is within that spend. You didn't need that new Benz. You didn't need that very elaborate office. You didn't need this first class ticket. You understand, this meeting that you went all the way to could have been done on Zoom meeting, because so there's a lot of discipline that comes with running a business. And also this 100% mentality. The more, we tell politicians to create an enabling environment. Okay, they've created it. Are we enabling ourselves? Are we enablers? Do we have the tools that ensure that we grow businesses? Businesses only last the lifespan of the person who founded it. And it's very unfortunate. That's why I'm very passionate about the buzz, the stock exchange, because it's a place where ensures that businesses outlive their owners. Young people are not interested about it in the Ghana Stock Exchange. I remember as a young person, I used to go to the stock exchange. Very young, I'll see his leadership, Honorable Prince Amoabin, correct? PK is there lecturing, and we just observe, because from what I understood as a young person is where to raise capital. The Ghana Stock Exchange came out with a very brilliant idea. They created an alternative exchange where companies who don't meet certain critical criteria to get on the exchange, they've created a smaller exchange where they actually, get you to list based on less regulatory framework, and so that at least you build a culture. And this was one of the ideas I applauded. But like we always say, we don't know where the idea was, because I used to call friends and say, guess what? This is what has happened. We can get, and this is what allows you for your company to be bigger than you, your family, and even your country.
Indeed.
You understand?
Indeed.
So there's something called corporate governance.
Let me cut you. The corporate governance is big. So we have a caller on the line. Henry Dako from Teshi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm very fine.
All right. Your contribution, please.
I'm an entrepreneur myself, and that's my mate talking over there, and I'm so proud of him. This is Kedo Ghana Limited. He knows me. I'm into construction. I started with no funding. Basically, it's how you grow your capacity and your skills, your marketing skills, and it might fall like this. He knows something. He knows I'm talking to him.
No, share your experience with us. A lot of people are listening.
Basically, after school, I wanted to do my own thing. But then I applied to a couple of companies and I started working with them. But I realized there was no room for improvement. And I had so many ways of learning, like so many things to learn. So where I was working, we were selling construction materials. You understand? So I was attached to the roofing side. We call it shingles. So I learned the shingles, but then I realized there was no room for improvement. So I started learning the other stuff they have, like waterproofing chemicals, like damp-proofing chemicals, leakage, concrete stamping stuff. So one day I just woke up and said, look, I know all this stuff, so why don't I create my own company with the links that I have, So I started marketing myself on Facebook with my friends, and it started coming little by little. The youth nowadays want to rush in getting the money. The money will come after making the money.
What will be your message to the young people out there?
They shouldn't rush. They should build themselves. They shouldn't rush. They should build themselves.
All right. Thank you very much,
and I'm so proud of him.
Thank you very much. We are grateful that you called into the program and shared your experience. So, Farouk, you were making a point about corporate governance. Sure. I think he touched a bit on the fact that you shouldn't rush it. I think it has some link with corporate governance. So,
vision and destination shouldn't influence your zeal and everything. The process is a process game. So once you embrace the process, let's conquer today. Let's conquer tomorrow. Let's, So look. There are times when I started my company, Premium African Holdings, because I wanted to be accountable, I created an email called the board at Premium African Holdings. There wasn't a board, but I wanted to build a culture of accountability. Okay. So every month I'll do my board report and just dock it in that email. Just dump it there in the email, because it's about accountability. I don't have a board yet. So young people, and the culture of financial discipline. I think it should be a requirement for people to even register companies.
Another caller is on the line. Sure. Farouk, sorry, I have to cut you again. Henry from Osu, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And Mary?
Yes, please.
Okay, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Yes, afternoon. I'm really enjoying the conversation, and I really. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please make your point. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, actually, I'm a starter. I'm here to open up a school, okay? So I would love him to. Yes, I just need a guidance. I would love him to coach me on how to go about it. I'm yet to start it, but I really love how far he has gotten to, and I would love his guidance on how to go about it and stuff like that. So if there is a way I can get in touch with him, so he will coach me as to set my vision and mission to make it a top notch, I will love it. Thank you.
All right, so don't just leave your number with the producer, and then we will reach you after this program. But he will comment on your request as well. So Farouk.
So in terms of the coaching, it's something that I encourage. I'm a big beneficiary of coaching and mentorship. But technology has made it so much available online, everywhere. If you know, every sector that you want information from, you can get on. But there are times I tell myself, I've benefited from mentorship and coaching. It's only fair to give back. So as much as time is limited, we find a way to. So I've sat down with my team. We want to have something much more structured, where maybe once every month we build a collective of people and have conversation, not in your typical classroom setting, but very casual. And at times, your best self comes when you are relaxed, and so yes, let's see. I'll give it a time. Yeah.
So we believe that her number has been taken, and then we'll look at. Let me quickly look at the WhatsApp page and see if we have some questions coming in through there. All right, nothing yet. But we have David on the line. David from Ashoman, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Leadership 360.
Thank you.
Your points, please.
Yeah. I just want to congratulate your guests.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Please turn off, lower the volume on your set so that we don't get feedback.
Thank you.
All right, please proceed.
I can see your guest as a wonderful man.
All right.
I can see your guest as a wonderful man. He's supposed to be the president of this country to reform everything. I can see that at the time we were in junior secondary school. Those days we have we have the practicals, doing agric, doing mechanics, doing a lot of things, which a lot of people go through those things. Today they become a special person among us. Now the youth want to go into those things. They are now into politics. Quick money. Instead of having something in your hand before going into politics, they refuse to do that. All is money because they just, if they join to a politician, meaning that the politician will get money and give them something, they will be holding on those things. Instead of training ourselves from junior secondary school, now we collapse that sector. Entirely. There's nothing over there. Now everybody is going to academic, and nothing is coming out of it. So if your guest will hold something, so some of us will just come and learn from him, because some of us from that stage we try to do poultry, doesn't hold. We do piggery, it doesn't hold. We do a lot of things, but especially the piggery, the buyers, we are not getting the buyers. So I will plead with you, your guest will recall him back to come and talk more, so that we also learn something from him. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That is the essence of this program, is for us to educate ourselves, re-educate ourselves, or what we call to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So that all the things that we have done over the period, what are the good ones, what are the bad ones, what are the lessons in there, and that is why this platform has been created. And by your support, we continue to dole out some of this knowledge and experiences, so that we are all on the same frequency towards a better future. So FAROUK, we are grateful. The viewers are grateful. You are here sharing your experiences, and people are learning. And the request is that you may have to consider coming back. I know you are a busy person. Even from here, you're on your way out. But we will benefit. We'll tap into your experience every now and then. Now, you were making some points.
So my point, I mean, the call, you felt the passion.
Yeah.
You felt the passion in his voice. Even from a point where he still wants things to happen. So, like I was saying, my call is financial discipline. When we start businesses, the pressure to our biggest competition. I don't know the problem of Ghanaian enterprise is widespread, but our biggest competition is us. The company's biggest competition is us before external, because the entrepreneur who has started a business has that foundation for his dream house. How is it in practice? You know, your business is competing with your dream house. You just place the call looking for the latest model of a car. And you're also part of that commentary about the system is hard. When we lead ourselves, we'll be able to be led.
Lead our businesses as well.
Exactly. So
on that note, let me say, time is flying so fast that we have just about 4 minutes to go. And but we have Kwame from Tamale. Kwame, good afternoon.
Mohammed,
good afternoon.
Mohammed Sadiq, Abubakar Sadiq Tamale.
Tamale, how are you? How is Tamale?
I'm fine. I'm quiet. We are Tamale. We are well and kicking.
All right.
Only that we have a lot of water problems.
All right. Please go ahead with your point.
So, in fact, you see, as a starter in Ghana here, the environment is not all that conducive for investment. Why am I saying so? When you are opening
Please be snappy as well for us, because the time is also gone.
I know.
Right.
Yes. So I just want people to know that when you even do marketing and you are coming to open business, your issue are how do I even employees is a problem. When you employ people, they are all, excuse me to say, they are wolves. They consume your business and then and go back to unemployed. The same apply. They will tax. The authorities will also tax. They don't give room for. Even they don't assess how much do you get a day and before they tax. So they will tax and kill your business. And actually, and the most funny thing is that you realize that the top, those who are making the laws, they are not affected by the law. Example, president doesn't pay tax.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, the time is hitting us hard. On this program, we have a code that we subscribe to and we recommend for all of us in order to change the dynamics, the mindset, and our attitude, our approach to leadership. And so we want to go back to our honor code, and then when we come back, we wrap up.
great.
I am a proud and firm African. I will take a stand. I will lead and be the change. Come and take my hand. For the safety, honor, and welfare of my country and company come first. Always and every time. The honor, welfare, and comfort of the people I lead come next. My own ease, comfort, and safety come last. Always and every time.
Welcome back, cherished viewers. I want to believe that we have enjoyed the conversation, and we hope we can continue, but time will not permit us. Farouk, your final words.
It's like I put out in Kumasi. Leadership should start from home. The way parents conduct themselves in the house, the energy they give, the way they talk to themselves and all that. As young people too, at home, the leadership should start from there. Give good account of yourself. But my most passionate part is business. Young people should understand that a business should be bigger than you. Because once you decide to start a business, think the fact that it should be bigger than you. Yeah. How does a bigger business become bigger than you? When you start a business, is you. It gets to a point where it's not about you. Bring other people on board. There's something we call, I always say, corporate governance. Get a board. It doesn't necessarily have to be structured. An uncle who is very difficult, critical. You need, people to look at a business from a certain standpoint. Be accountable. Financial discipline is the key to business growth, because at the end of the day, if you're not financially disciplined, it comes back to head the business. So let's maintain a high level of discipline. Let's lead in the business. Let's see a leadership in business where It's showing in the numbers game. We should be able to say, look, this number of startups have been formed. They've been able to move to this point. They've deployed at scale. Now they are impacting. There are lots of success cases
this conversation will have to be continued. Definitely. So please create that space for us. We'll bring you back for us to continue this conversation.
I'm ever ready to.
Cherished viewers, it's been great having you around. Hope to see you next week, Thursday, same time, as we continue the conversation on our leadership skill development. The show for today will be repeated on Saturday at 1:30 p.m. See you. Let's have a blessed time.